Greetings, Saber fans. I'm going to show you today the differences between the two Depa sabers that we have on the Korbanth site. One is made by one of our factories in China, and the other one is by 89 Sabers. That's why one's called the Depa 89, which is the 89 version, and the other one is just called the Depa. Now, the first version of Depa that came out, I guess you could call it 1.0. We're now advertising Depa version 1.2. That's because the internal dimensions changed just slightly from the first version that came out, and the outside's the same. It's just the internal dimensions have changed. So when you're looking up on the saberarmory.com for a chassis, if you got one that was the first version from the first initial batch, they would be the normal Depa chassis. And then of course, if you've gotten one in the past, I would say since early March of 2022, it would be the Depa version 1.2 chassis. I want to show you what the differences are. They're I would say 95% the same. The only real difference between them is the Depa 89 is a little bit more of a charcoal gunmetal, and it's a 2-button saber. So you have this button turns it on. This button changes the fonts.
Wherever you are hard to find. I'm ready.
That's major only difference is just it's a little bit different. Some people like the 2-button mode, and some people don't. Some people like the 1-button. But to access a chassis, you open up this pommel, and the chassis will pull out. There's this tool that sometimes I will put in there. What this does is when you take the bottom off and the blade out, this pushes the chassis out nicely. Also, right there is the blade retention screw. Make sure when you open this up, pull the chassis out to turn it on or replace the battery, charge the battery. Put this on firmly, put the blade in, hold it in, and tighten the set screw. And then test it to make sure it's working.
You can never see me.
It's a really nice saber. The other one, our first Depa, or version 1, I guess you could say, and this one's version 1.2, it's a 1-button saber. This one is also sort of a gunmetal, but it has a little bit of, I'd like to say, charcoal blue. So it's a little bit more bluer in color, and it has a gem up here that actually, when the blade's inserted and you turn it on, this will light up. Because there you go. Inside there, the blade goes all the way down to about here, so the light of the blade is actually lighting this color up. So whatever color the blade is the color. Now, sometimes you have to make sure this blade is in all the way. There's the blade retention screw right here. So a lot of times also on our 1-button sabers, we do put a gesture control on them. Let's see if I can do this right. There we go. Let me do this down. All right. Sometimes I don't have the blade put in all the way. Let me see if I can, there you go, adjust it. If the blade doesn't come on or it's intermittent, it means that I have it locked in when the blade's not in all the way. You just have to adjust it and it'll work fine. So to work the 1-button mode, you push it and you hold it down to deignite. And if you hold it for about 1.5 seconds, it'll play music.
Jedi, prepare for death.
Or I'm sorry, when you hold it for 1.5 seconds, it'll change fonts.
Persistence in the Force is my ally. Low battery.
It's also got low battery. So I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think to play music tracks, I think you just hold it down while it's on, but not long enough for it to shut off. So, but anyways, I think when it's got low battery, it does have it does have some intermittent issues that you have to charge up the battery. So that's the main difference between the two Sabers, is that you have a one that's a little bit more darker gray, one that's a little bit more bluish gray, and they have one's a 1 button, one's a 2 button. They're both great, just depends on which ones you like. And remember, this is the tool that pushes the chassis out if it's needed. Sometimes if the chassis comes out nice and smoothly, I don't include it, but if the chassis is a little bit more stuck, I'll put one in there. Take care, have a great day.